Ukraine thanks Egypt for turning away Russian grain ship.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukraine has thanked Egypt for turning away a ship containing grain which it said was stolen from the war-torn country, after Egypt announced the ship was turned away for not having sufficient paperwork. Ukraine's embassy in Cairo alleged the ship was carrying grain from Russian-controlled areas of Ukraine. Getty. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba thanked Egypt on Thursday for turning away a Russian ship loaded with grain which he said had been stolen from Ukraine. Ukraine's embassy in Cairo alleged the ship was carrying grain from Russian-controlled areas of Ukraine. Spoke with my Egyptian counterpart Sameh Shokri. Grateful to Egypt for turning away a Russian ship loaded with grain stolen in Ukraine, Kuleba wrote on Twitter, adding that Ukraine and Egypt had agreed to coordinate efforts to make Russia unblock Ukraine's food exports. Egypt, one of the world's largest wheat importers, normally imports large volumes of Black Sea wheat, but shipments have been disrupted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24. Last month, Ukraine's deputy agriculture minister accused occupying Russian forces of stealing several 100,000 tons of grain.
This post received a score of 17,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Isn't Egypt the largest wheat customer in Ukraine? It's encouraging to see that they're doing the right thing.
Ironic considering that throughout a large portion of history, Egypt was the breadbasket of the Mediterranean.
The economy of the country just becomes something completely different. It still has top soil quality, but water shortage severely limits modern agriculture. Meanwhile, Suez Canal is immensely important to the world at so many levels and effectively defines the role of Egypt in the modern world.
Is it water shortage or mismanagement? Water for agriculture is used highly inefficiently. Additionally, you don't have those seasonal floods anymore now that Nile is dammed, which is good for people, but not so good for soil fertility.
Much of their water comes from the Nile, which is in threat of drying up due to damming up the river by Ethiopia.
Speaking of this, what happened to Egypt's threat to bomb the dams being built by Morsi?
They'll get around to it, eventually.
WTF is with the stock photo on this article?
Somebody thought that this was the perfect image to represent a modern grain-carrying ship.
I love the Jolly Roger if you zoom in. Quality journalism.
Lol, I missed that. I mean, the real one is a pirate ship of a sort, but not that kind.
This is really scary because Egypt is already scarce in grain stock. If they don't buy from Russia directly, they're going to find a middleman to buy wheat from.
I was about to ask, aren't they literally on the edge of a food crisis?
In the event of a food crisis, these ships won't be turned away for long.
They're being turned away for stealing Ukraine grain. These ships are causing the shortage.
Then why don't they seize the grain without payment to Russia rather than turning away?
Egypt don't seem to be interested in crossing Russia. They don't want to piss in the West's cornflakes by taking stolen Ukrainian grain either, but they aren't going to start seizing Russian ships when they're still reliant on Russian trade to feed their people.
Nation-states don't have to do the seizing. We can just issue letters of marque and let privateers start raiding Russian ships at sea like the good old days.
Technically, the US Congress still has this power.
Hoist the fucking mainsail already, me hearties.
Why wasn't it held and seized? This is stolen cargo.
Egypt is already facing a big problem with grain. Entering into a conflict with the largest supplier of wheat in the world is not a good idea. 30% of Egyptian wheat comes from Russia. If Russia bans wheat exports to Egypt, the situation will escalate very badly. Investors will withdraw their money because of fears of a revolution. Due to the high price of bread, the economy will get worse and people will do revolutions and more investors will withdraw their money and the circle will go on. Refuse to take the shipment as huge itself. Anything more will be suicide move.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.